I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. I'm a little more than a little jet lagged. I haven't eaten in probably 2 days.
Ma'am, I got this insurance card. Hold on for a minute, ma'am. Hold on, ma'am. Now look here, you snag mouth. I'm on the phone with the dentist trying to get you some teeth so you can eat some solid food. Keep on, you lizard.
Today, we're talking about the yeah, like that. So we're gonna go over why we say bueno on the phone. Oh my god, Jesus. I almost did it again. Earlier I left my mic on the table and it was super far away and you couldn't hear me just like before. Don't ever let me do that again. Okay, moving on. So why do we say bueno? Or like in English terms, hello on the phone. You know what I mean? So I saw a TikTok courtesy of my husband. Sweet, the sweetest fella. He gives me inspiration for my videos all the time. And the TikTok is at Very, the account, and we're gonna, No,
you gotta play the...
Jeez.
No, you got started, but you haven't
aggressive much? We just got started. What do you mean, get with the clip already?
Yeah, it's easy. What do you think you're talking? What do you think you're talking to? We're doing the same thing.
This is so
this is harder.
easy.
This is harder. I'm editing.
Yeah, I know. But I'm new.
Whatever. Yeah, you don't want me to talk crap.
Oh, sure. Yeah, keep talking crap. Whatever. Just roll the clip. Oh, you want me to roll the clip?
Yeah, you know what?
If you're Mexican, did you know the reasoning behind saying bueno when we answer the phone? I'm Mexican, so I'm speaking for Mexicans. Other Latinos may do this, I'm not too sure. But my Mexican dad actually told me the reasoning. When telephones were introduced to Mexico, calls were unreliable. Couldn't see who was calling and the connections were shaky. Operators often had to manually connect lines. People would answer with bueno, meaning, is this good? Is the line working? Can you hear me? So bueno wasn't a greeting like hello, it was a line check.
So back from that clip. So basically, now it's a little segment. We're going to do speed runs. So we're going to speed run the clip, summary points, in case you didn't want to watch the whole TikTok and zoom by it. We're going to put a little timer, pop it on somewhere on the screen. Starting now. I'm holding my notes up. So her dad says that when phones were introduced, people did say bueno from the beginning, and basically this was most likely because calls were unreliable. There was no caller ID and knowing who was on the other side, so you had to make sure someone could hear you and who the heck was on the other side, kind of hear their voice and confirm. Right, so basically also connections were shaky and operators manually connected lines. So you know what, let's insert a photo of one of those phone boards that operators use. Jesus, look at those boards. Oh my god, they're insane. Could you operate one? I don't think I could. Moving on. So bueno almost meant like a confirmation of connection. Oh, ergo bueno meant like hello or can you hear me. It was the line check to make sure everything was fine, dandy, and connected, that the operator successfully connected everything together. Whoo! Okay, so we'll take a breather. Jeez, that's all in one go. The time around here, that's our time. Basically, other members of her family said the same. And I have the same experience. I've done the same when I'm talking to Spanish-speaking family members. I say the same. I'm like, bueno? It's like, hello. I mean, tons of y'all probably do that out there. I'm sure, right? Lots of people. I've heard lots of people like hello on the phone. And there were like, there must be a reason, historically. You know what I mean? Humans are funny and history repeats itself. We do the same thing over and over and over and over, and we're in an infinite cycle. And same thing with phones. Geez, technology adapts and so do our problems. So this raised some questions, because of course I've raised questions, because the voices, they never stop, they never go away. I'm always asking questions, I'm always wondering things, and I'm like, why? When I'm like, stay here, don't go anywhere. No.
Oh god, yeah,
no,
no,
I know.
we're already losing them.
We're losing their attention. What do you mean? I feel like we're doing pretty good, right? No? No, stop it. Roll on, move along. What was the establishing of the telephone like in Latin America? And then what were the struggles, the technical limitations? Because this was new stuff, fresh and so clean. And they had to figure things out, get all the kinks out, you know what I mean? And they had to figure all that crap out. So there were limitations. And how did that begin? How did it show itself? And on top of that, how did people adapt? How did people show these issues, and how did they adapt to those issues at times too? And the reason I wanted to cover that was because these adaptations can carry on. Humans are funny little creatures, and they're little monkey caveman people, and we just want to do the same thing over and over, just reskin it. just like reskin it like a Fortnite skin. In the late 19th century, phone lines were established. Also, make sure you bring this around to Bueno. Okay, like you gotta make sure to bring this around to Bueno. Don't be a dummy and forget to bring around the point, because then people won't sit around and be like, this person doesn't make any sense, and like I'm insecure about that. Come on. In the late 19th century, phone lines were established, and then the first of the phone lines were in Cuba, Chile, and Mexico. Shout out to Mexico and all my Latin American countries. So since the 1880s, and shout out to the Bad Bunny halftime show. Ooh, banger. Oh, my husband showed me and sat down with me to watch. So it was originally catered to the urban elite, because why not? And this obviously decreased accessibility and knowledge of the technology. So that kind of slowed things down for people, right? Who would have thought? That's who would want a stinky poor to join in and have all the fun little advanced in technology. That's crazy. But then there were, and this is a quote from the Ericsson Mexico, a history of exciting past, present, and future. Okay, so it says here 500-point selectors were introduced to the country Mexico in 1926. So they were really starting up pretty early in the 20th century. From the start, the early 20s, mid 20s, they were really getting more selectors. So this means that the technology was rolling out to the common public and not just sticking with the rich, what do they call them? Stinky cats? No. Big cats? Big wigs? I don't know. So in the same year, there was the first international long distance call service with US and Canada. So yeah, shouts out to that. So we're moving pretty quickly along the timeline here, and things are becoming more accessible. You know, there's long distance calls between US and Canada, which, oh my God, the rates are crazy for phone service. You know, like what they charge is insane. I look at the bill and I'm like, oh my God, and I don't even look at the bill thoroughly. Honestly, when I have looked at it, I'm like, oh, what is this? What's going on? What is this? This means that phones were very, very, very new and like foreign to people. I mean, people needed instructions. You know what I mean? People needed like a manual. But people needed a manual. And here's another quote for you. Tossing them out for you. Editor, write it in. Oh, you do your job. Oh,
who are you talking to?
Yeah, well, just write it in, okay? People need to get the point. Right. Journalists responded with technical explanations and instructions for adequate use. This is fear, curiosity, and new social rules from the Society for the History of Technology.org. So this means that even journalists, like professionals in their field and writers, a smarter version of me, a more qualified version of me, I just just Google and... But yeah, they were like, dude, what the heck is this evil magic? I mean, like, so this means that this confusion came in waves. At least that's my theory. That's probably likely what happened. I mean, think about it. Like, it was the urban elites that got it first, and then in waves, it like came down to like more lower classes, not like the middle class isn't dying out. And, you know, the class divide is becoming wider, and the gap is becoming wider and wider. You know, whatever. So, okay, this technology is getting released in waves, so therefore the problems and the confusion and the fears and just like is also coming in waves for people. Not even people are hearing about this as it comes down the grapevine. They don't get to try it all at once. So, you know, when you actually get to try it, it's a lot different of an experience. Of course, people were often confused and uncertain. So kind of like that older family member who you like FaceTime, could be your grandpa, your pappy, your peepaw, and you FaceTime them or whatever, and they just don't quite understand how it works. They get real, like, too close to the phone, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, ooh, real personal. You can see the pores right on their skin. They just don't get it. They're like, can you see me? Can you hear me? And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I get it. It's fresh. It's new. You don't understand how this magical window works. You know what I mean? And if I was from the era that you were, I'd have the same. It's pretty much more like advanced version of the Bueno. That whole confused FaceTime, the whatever. Like, it's the same confusion and like line checking. See what I did there? We'll bring you back around. You know what I mean? And it's also like this emotional, psychological thing. This uncertainty and fear of the new. You know, we see it when everything, books and writing was once like that. I'm watching Night of Seven Kingdoms. It's the show that's coming out, and it's like it's a Game of Thrones kind of world thing. It's so good. How did we get there? But yeah, new technology. It's always scary and frustrating, and the previous generation doesn't really get it. I will say something to say aside of all that. They may be fearful, but they're very, very determined. Okay, they're gonna figure it out one way or another. They're gonna hop on Facebook and like some AI posts and comment on some thirst traps of like AI posts. Also, have you ever done that though? Like the hello, the are you there, the bueno? Like, come on, that phone tag thing. Please never call me. Just text me, please. Oh my god, I hate phone calls, except if it's like my husband, my hubby. I love when he calls me, but that's because I miss him, okay? And like my mom. Shout outs to the fam. Otherwise than that, just shoot me a text. Oh, please, a voice memo. Yeah, I like those. That's where that all comes from. It goes way, 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 way back. Hope y'all are entertained. But people were also uncertain of like other people's skills and understanding among their peers of this new device. You know, they needed to like make sure that other people's weren't having like a skill issue with it. Skill issue. Yeah, here, let's show a little illustration here from the site that we had from that Society of History Technology site. It's like a classic, like a Zine comic panel thing. So we're gonna go through some of the panels here. We're gonna zoom in. So on the bottom left, this kind of like highlights the anxieties of incapable or fearful people who were like more ignorant of the tech and were going to be like scared of it. So the guy asked the lady a question and she jolts back in like fear or like even amazement, but to me it seems like fear and kind of like, holy, I mean, look at her. Look at that face. Absolutely freaking terrified. And I would be too. Like, look at her. Get up close on that face. Look. Yeah, girl even spoke out and said, Ave Maria, I'm dead. She's literally like the guy. He looks pretty smug. Like, he's like, girl, you don't even know, like, what? Jeez. Yeah, this reinforces that this wasn't just like technology and like its issues, but it was also super societal. Yeah, no, editor, yeah, stinky boys.
Yeah, stinky.
Very stinky boys.
Smelly.
Misogyny.
Yeah.
Hate to see it. Ladies, gents, and all in between. Don't like it. So here's another quote, because we need to reinforce all our points here. We can't just jibber jabber without bringing some freaking proof to the table, some pie and pudding, or the proof is in the pudding. It's like Bill Cosby. This says, telephone users frequently complained about long wait times, operators' rudeness, or connection errors, but the context of these problems was often invisible to callers. This is from the Society of History of Technology. This is very true. Frustrations would really explain all of this. You know what I mean? It kind of explains this need to make sure that calls were clear and info wasn't missing. I mean, there's a lot of important stuff. There might be tea to the girls. You know what I mean? Information to get out to the boys. You gotta make sure that nothing is lost, you know, especially when you're not sure if this crap's gonna work out at all. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like people using those Apple augmented reality things, and it's like, how is that gonna work? Like, god, those face scan things look terrifying. I saw an Eddie Burback video and his face looks terrifying, horrifying. It looks like a deformed me. This can be seen in the bueno, because it's being hear it used in frustration too. It's not just about the use of the word, it's how you use it too. You can say like angry, frustrated, like, dude, can you hear me? Like, what the frick? What the heck and frick? And we are just simple cave people just getting angry and screaming at the new thing. We yell at it. We yell at the phone calls, whenever you're on a customer service line waiting forever, you ever yell, you ever get so annoyed that you just like lose it a little bit, and not proud of that, but it happens. What was being a phone operator like? Because we're talking about the people side, the user side, the client side, I guess you would say, but now it's about the operators, because there were workers on the other side. It wasn't as automated as it is nowadays. It's frustrating even that way, but imagine you have to, before there were people doing this stuff manually, because this kind of also it does contextualize both like the technical issues and just the attitudes with this new tech that was happening. We need to look at that further, because we're having fun, but also there's a purpose here, I would say. I don't know. But this further contextualizes our current patterns with like phones till new generations truly forget, and then we are then the elderly. Have you ever seen how like kids, you'll see those, they'll compare like how people make the phone. Some people will do this, some people will do like this, like a brick. We're repeating the cycle because of brick phones, but also kids are forgetting, and like we're becoming the old. The future is now, I guess. I really feel like I'm already getting old sometimes, and I'm an elderly person rolling and going into the retirement home. Hey, hyperbole, gotta catch your attention. Moving on. So the general experience of the phone operator, they worked huge plug boards. Let's put a photo around here, because they were ginormous plug boards because they had to handle several calls at a time, and they had to connect from one caller to another caller. So imagine each plug is like a receiving end. Yeah, that's a lot of things that adds up. And they had to act as middle women, because they were mainly women. We're gonna get into why, but they were women that handled these calls, and they would take one call, one plug, take it out, and then jam it into the board. Just go, hey, where would you like to connect? And then jam it. Like, okay, wow, it was very aggressive, but hey, you had to do it. Someone had to. And the other end receiving call basically had to kind of like, they each had to confirm and make sure that the calls were good. So the bueno. And this was all efficiently done for on the operators end, while talking the customer through it, asking them who they wanted to connect to, be like, wait a moment, no small talk. Forget customer service and smile. Whatever, you're on a phone call, silly. But you ever witness the IT remote customer service people working, and they're like, how can I help you? Or like they'll transfer the call to other people, that little part of the where they transfer it. It's like that's the whole job, because it was a little more complicated and like technically like clunky and janky. But there were lots of strict rules for many of these operators. Like, it wasn't all Candyland and freaking butterflies and rainbows and sugar pies. It was actually a pretty taxing job. A lot of these women went through a lot of issues, such as like they lots of them, if not all of them, had to adhere to strict dress codes. So there were cases of people wearing no colors at all black, or no jewelry, or no excessive jewelry, no excessive makeup, stuff like that. Really laying it down on them. And there was also like war happening. The first telephone operators, or some of the phone, were the hello girls, and they helped in like, I believe, World War I. Yeah, there was a lot of spy operating there, and they used a listening board. Let's insert a photo somewhere around here of a listening board. They used listening boards to kind of like listen in on calls and make sure that no like weird spy activities was going on. Lots of pressure on them. They also dealt with long hours. There was like long hours happening to these women. It was insane. Like, they were pushed into overdrive, overclocking the operators. And of course there's going to be pressure, and some of them are going to be like, screw this. Also, as will forever be in the customer service experience, let's get some lights on in here, it's a little dark. As will forever be in like human history, there will always be disgruntled or disgruntled or angry customers, who just don't want to freaking deal with it. And I get it, it's hard, it's frustrating to be on the other end, but we're workers too, man. We gotta deal with this too, and you're gonna make me cry. I'm gonna go into a corner and cry, okay? But yeah, like, they dealt with that too. Fun fact, boys didn't last long. They initially had men doing the work, because they were like, oh, dude's gonna do this better, of course, because yeah, we're gonna reach that conclusion over and over. Here's a quote. When some other diversion held their attention, they would often leave for over any length of time, and then return the impatient subscribers' profanity with a few original oaths. This is from Marion May Dilt's The Telephone in a Changing World, 1941. These dudes were absolutely wild. And like, I get it, we deal with all kinds of customer service kerfuffles in the industry, and all kinds of stinky boot butts, angry yelling people, like that guy who was like, you think you're my father?
Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father or my boss. Dude, you want to step outside? You want to step outside?
It's like, dude, just get out of here. Like, just give me your money and leave. Get your bagel or whatever and go. Forget about it. Like, dude, sit down. Focus. Though when a customer does talk crap and is like transphobic or whatever, I want to hop over the counter and give them a good old shake their hand. shake their hand and give them a pat on the back and tell them, friend, bad fella. Yeah, women were hired shortly after that because, of course, they were like, yeah, screw it. Hire the women. They'll do a better job. These guys are not doing great, guys. The first of the women were the hello girls. Let's see what they, this is kind of what they looked like. They worked super long hours. An operator once worked 10 extra unpaid hours and mind you, this was like a punishment for a giggle, for a little laugh. Like, what? That's insane. 10 extra hours, and on top of that, there were mental health issues happening. Remember earlier how we were talking about all those other issues? Well, of course, all these pressures caused psychological hiccups and bumps. So in 1899, a 25-year-old operator named Anna Byrne, she unfortunately unsubscribed from her life service, extended life service, and that wasn't even a joke. Okay, I can't say the right thing, and I don't want to get this taken down from YouTube. So this is a quote from the coroner. There were even pressure from companies for control over operators' personal lives. Like, what? All of these tensions and limitations and stresses obviously made work way more taxing for these women. So of course they're going to be pushed to their limit, and yeah, these companies aren't going to care because they want money. And this really shines a light on the whole situation because it's frustrating on the customer end and it's a little janky, and because the operators aren't working to the fullest potential because of the conditions, it's janky on all ends. And this really opens a can of worms here because there's a lot of confusion and uncertainty, and there still is, because when new technology rolls out, people don't take the time to really go, maybe we should work out the kinks. By the 1940s, there were fewer than 200,000 operator workers, period. So it was kind of like dwindling and dying, probably because the technology got better, the process became more automated, and these women moved on to other things and other jobs. Not even in a way of being, this was too hard for them. No, this was just a hard job, period. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with this new technology. So yeah, in 2021, there was a total of just 5,000 workers that were categorized as technically phone operators, which is crazy. That's like such few people. So the issues and current adaptations with phones was that there was like an uncertainty of connection. This was reinforced by the operator experience and those limitations on their end combined. A really rough experience all around. So obviously people aren't going to be too sure of the experience. If it's going to be good, if it's going to be a good connection, if the other person is even the right person on the other end, because if the operator did their job just fine. And then the uncertainty of others' knowledge and skill of this technology to make sure people could like freaking focus and be like, yo, are you there? Because, this was new tech and people exaggerated this sometimes too. Some people were like, this is crazy, but they could still keep up. They're not dumb. But that's where that comes from too. And also the actual unreliable technology and the evolving processes. Because think about it this way. As technology progresses, the errors will always progress with it because people will overlook things constantly. Human error. So what's to say that people aren't going to be infinitely confused about this in like a couple of decades? We're going to be going through the same thing as well. Just like, hello, what? All right, I'll take it out. I gotta go eat food. I'm hungry. I'll catch y'all on the flip, and I'll see y'all soon again. Goodbye.